Xbox is turning 20, and Microsoft celebrating with hardware and shoes. Turning 20 is a pretty big deal, I guess. Well, I guess unless you live in the United States, because turning 20 is kind of a useless age, right? When you're 18, you're an adult, and when you're 21, you can drink out. Whatever. Anyway, Xbox is turning 20, and Microsoft is celebrating with hardware and some new shoes. Now, this is a big deal, and the gaming industry, which we all know is really competitive, especially because Microsoft walked into an arena where they were going up against Sega, Nintendo, PlayStation. Like, they were in a, they were the new kid on the block, and they had a lot of cool stuff, and obviously Microsoft has survived for 20 years, and they are celebrating with hardware and I keep wanting to say software, but they're shoes, hardware and shoes. Yes, no software, I guess. Well, technically there is, but anyways, let's dive into what Microsoft is using to celebrate Xbox turning 20. First up, we have this fancy headset. Now, this headset is actually the Xbox wired headset, which is a fine headset. Comes in at a great value, but it's somewhat honestly surprising to see them launching a limited edition already. But it is the 20th anniversary edition headset, and you can see it there. You can see the little 20 emblazoned on the ear cup on that right. You've got that lime green accent, which goes perfectly with the Lamborghini that I don't have. And you also see the lime green, I call it lime green, but it's Xbox green, around the ear cups. Now, Microsoft is going to be selling this. You can pre-order it. And much like every other piece of technology in this, 2021, if you want to buy it, you better pre-order it, because otherwise it's going to be gone, because everything is selling out faster than any company on the planet can make it. Anyways, I think this thing looks fantastic, honestly. I think Microsoft did a good subtle updates and subtle refinements. They didn't really go too loud with the coloring. Like, they didn't try to make the headband all green and the ear cups bright. Like, I think it's a nice refined look. I think these look fantastic. Now, the more interesting thing that Microsoft has announced is this bad boy or girl or whatever you want to call it, this controller. I think Microsoft did a banging job with this. They've got the nice, again, subtle green accents. I guess they're a little bit more than subtle on the back, but on the front, you've got that subtle green accent and the Xbox button, a really nice sort of like smoky-ish color look. I don't quite know how you want to describe it, but I think this is one of their best looking custom controllers. Am a little disappointed again that it's not an Elite Series 2 controller, because that is one thing that Microsoft has not really customized other than outside of some one-offs, and obviously the Halo one, which again, if you want, good luck, it's already sold out. I've already looked at it. But you can see the grips on the triggers and on the back of the green grips. I don't know how to describe it other than I think this thing looks fantastic. And you've got that again on the bottom right. You've got the number 20 because Xbox is turning 20. Now, there is a unique trick with this controller. When you connect it up to your Xbox, you are going to get a customized or a unique digital download in the way of a dashboard animation. So these are kind of unique. This is an interesting way for Microsoft to bridge the physical and digital worlds, because you can only get this by buying the controller and syncing it, or somehow paying off a Microsoft employee to let you download it with your ID. But this background, the animated background or dynamic background, whatever you want to call it, will be tied explicitly to this controller. So you got to buy this controller to get it. It's, again, is this like the craziest thing Microsoft has ever done? Absolutely not. But it's a unique way, and you can see how Microsoft could potentially leverage this with other accessories connecting to the Xbox. You go buy a limited edition Far Cry controller. You get a Far Cry background that you can only get by buying the controller. Now, I don't think that's going to persuade everyone to go out and buy something like this, but they could definitely do it in unique ways. And it's just something a little extra. They didn't have to do this, but it gives you a little something more for spending your hard-earned dollar dues on a limited edition controller. I think it's a really unique thing, and I suspect we could see more. It'd be great. Like, I doubt the Xbox fridge has Bluetooth or whatever connects to the Xbox. So how hilarious would it be if you bought the mini fridge, and when you connected it up, you saw my tweet that got Aaron to chase this thing down, or maybe just get a picture of Aaron, or maybe a picture of me. Okay. Moving on. There's other things that Microsoft is also releasing here. This is actually, I believe, coming from Razer, so you're going to get a 20th edition or 20-year commemorative edition controller stand. Now, this comes extra. This does not come with the controller. You got to go out and do it and buy it with your hard-earned dollar dues, but it matches the aesthetics of the controller. And again, it looks really, really unique. And I think Microsoft has just done a good job here without kind of going overboard and just saying, hey, look, we're loud and proud. We've survived 20 years. Now, if you do want to get a little bit more loud and proud, you can absolutely go out and buy these Xbox kicks that are coming, that I believe are the perfect shoe for cutting grass in, because you could cut all the grass you'd ever want and live out all your dad dreams. Maybe play lawn mowing simulator while wearing these without being aware that you've actually got grass stains on your shoes. they're not for me personally, but I'm not, let's be honest, I just wear boat shoes like 99% of the time. But if you are into the footwear scene, the kick scene, whatever, Microsoft is going to be selling these in conjunction with Adidas. And so they're green, they're Xbox. I mean, what else do you expect? But this controller, guys, just looks really good. And so, anyways, if you want any of this stuff, Microsoft has got the pre-orders up. So you better get your credit card out and start swiping. Eat some ramen noodles for dinner if you're buying all this stuff, because it can add up quickly. But I think this is just sort of a look at how Microsoft is approaching their go-to-market strategy in a unique way, because the digital downloads that are accompanying the controllers, I think it's just a neat value add. And I'll be curious to see how far Microsoft is willing to extend that. You can imagine these things also happen on your Xbox. You could get a digital wallpaper. Microsoft doesn't actually allow or have, you can definitely do it with third-party solutions. Stardock, where I work, makes one. You can definitely do it with third-party solutions, get animated backgrounds, but Microsoft doesn't currently have a native animated background solution built into Windows. And so you could see that digital download that comes with this may not make sense there, but I don't know why they don't. They eventually could at some point. So I'd be curious if any of you guys are trying to get your paws on any of this stuff. I will tell you that I have seen more consoles pop up online. Walmart actually had them today, the Xbox Series X, if you're in the United States. GameStop was also selling the Far Cry. I don't necessarily like how they always bundle all this stuff together in crazy high bundles, but they had a Far Cry 6. It was like $20 in GameStop bucks, and a console for like $690. If you really want to get your hands on a Series X, it did sell out instantly. So obviously GameStop knows what they're doing, but I don't know. I mean, Phil Spencer has said, hey, we're not going to be getting this stuff readily available for at least into 2022. And so we'll see how much longer it takes for Microsoft to really kind of bring all this together. But if you can't get a next-gen console, maybe you can get a next-gen looking controller, which I think is what we are watching here. And I'm just letting this play on replay because I just think it looks great. I think this is one of the better looking controllers that Microsoft has kicked out their door lately. So anyways, just as an anecdote, if you're looking at putting anything under the tree this year, if you have little kiddos, you should definitely be trying to buy stuff now, because it looks like this holiday season is not going to improve in any capacity, not just for consoles, but for everything in the gaming world. I went to Best Buy this week because, again, I'm still on the lookout for potentially a native USB-C headset, and I didn't really love what they had there, and the Microsoft headset isn't quite the one for me. I'm looking to get a little bit higher audio quality, and so again, all that stuff was just completely sold out, and there was nothing really left to do. So with that being said, guys, that's enough of the controllers and headsets and whatnot. I'm just bringing you some good vibes here as Xbox turns 20. Hopefully this puts you in a better mood. Like maybe you got one of these and bought one and put you in a better mood. I'm in a great mood. And as always, make sure to keep it subscribed here, because the only BS on this channel is me.